Hi, this is Benjamin, founder of Farmagain. Like I've said before, GroTron was selected as one of the top 100 innovations of India in the year 2023. So for a farm automation, there are umpteen number of brands available in the market, both in India and outside of India. As far as GroTron is concerned, it is not yet another product, but it is a technology that is bundled with science, which has the capability to provide a solution, a complete solution for any crop. And I'm very happy to share that we have already crossed about 1,500 acres of GroTron implementation just in coconut farms alone. Today, we are in a farm in Dindigul district in a place called Rediyar Chatram. It's a 10 acres of coconut farm. All the 10 acres are of Deejay variety. And what is special about this farm is that it has come through a year of recovery process. It was performing not as good as this now. I still won't say it is really doing great, but it is on the path towards a good recovery. Today is a very special day for us. Everybody knows Deejaycoconut, and everybody knows it can give 250 mature nuts per year per tree, and it can give about 400 tender coconuts. And anyone who wants to go for a new coconut plantation wishes to go with Deejay, in spite of the fact that there is some waiting period. Everyone really loves Deejaycoconuts. We all know that. But who created Deejay, who made all these 250 nuts and 400 nuts story? That's the man we're going to see today. And that is none other than Mr. David Lobo. Hello, sir. So very glad meeting you. Nice being able to catch up with you in a farm where actually there are Deejaycoconuts and
Yes.
GroTron working hand in hand.
Yes, absolutely. My pleasure too.
It'll be really nice to hear from you, horse's own mouth, about the Deejaycoconuts, how they came about, why did you even create this, what's so special about it, and why should I buy this from you?
I'll give you a short history. However, I'm very happy to be here to see this garden and see the improvement. That's what gives me great satisfaction. This story started about 40 odd years ago when a UN expert, Anthony Davis, met us and said, start a hybrid project because that's needed, a hybrid coconut breeding project. With his help and with a team of people who are dedicated, we started it. It came around properly, did well, but we really see over the months and the years, if you're not able to give this hybrid the inputs that it needs, it slowly reduces in its productivity. So we've been looking for ways, we've been trying to advise people. We started an intervention program with farmers and they got very good results. And then we realized we must find something that overall will solve the problem. And I do hope it's fertigation. And maybe the GroTron system is going to achieve that for us, for the farmers, not for us. We are interested in the farmers' welfare, and that's why we went into breeding. Anthony Davis convinced us, even though it's a long gestation period requiring a lot of inputs, we still went in for it because, as he said, you can change farmers' lives. And that's the reason why we got into it. That's the reason why I'm here. I want to see what we can do to make it best for the farmer.
So I think that's precisely where GroTron does its job, because it was built on the principle of evapotranspiration, number one. And you may already know that we use artificial intelligence extensively to identify the right time and the duration of irrigation, so that the plant's, the root zone always gets its the perfect air water balance. The artificial intelligence automatically learns on its own over a period of time and makes sure the air water balance is maintained perfectly right. So that's one area where GroTron can help Deejay palms to actually perform better, maybe outperform it itself.
Yes.
That's one. And the second area that you rightly mentioned, the fertigation. GroTron's fertigation, I would say, is one of the best of its kind in the market today, because we can give volume-based fertigation, which has been very traditional in the market, which is like 2 kilograms or 2 liters of certain input per acre. the traditional way of fertigating. Perfectly a system can do that. But what it can also do is it can do easy pH balanced fertigation. And although only the polyhouse farmers, the NFT farmers choose that system, in reality it works wonders for any crop. And I'm sure it is going to work wonders for coconut too. But I must admit that none of our coconut farmers use that system because obviously there is an additional cost attached to it to make the easy pH balanced fertigation. But we have seen in our experiment that if you maintain a certain EC and a certain pH, the plants actually perform really wonderful. It produces the best.
I'm very happy you mentioned that, and I learnt about it very recently, the ECPH. If this can be sorted out through the system, I think there's nothing better. It's not just nutrition, but the nutrition being absorbed by the tree and taken up in maximum and optimum measures. But the ECPH hinders that. So if you brought that in, one more reason for me to be very, very happy to be meeting you today and learning something more.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean that's something that we had been working on for years because getting a real-time EC-pH balance is not really that easy. We have spent honestly about 3.5 to 4 years working on it. A lot of time and money has gone into this, but now we got it right. So
I'm happy to hear that, and I do believe I'll see much more of this happening as more and more of your system or your type of systems are put into the field.
yeah,
We desperately need that because I find the high yielding hybrids in fact begin to collapse if they're not being given enough of nutrition.
Exactly.
I find that nutrition first gets used for maintenance of the palm, then it goes for the biomass production, and then finally it goes for reproduction or nut production, which we are interested in. So if there's a shortage, first to get cut is nut production.
Right.
And therefore, not just having good nutrition, but having the optimum nutrition.
Yeah.
And not just having optimum nutrition, but having optimum intake by the tree.
Yeah.
And your ECPH will help in that as
Exactly.
well. Wonderful that you've put this together. I'm glad we have a few scientists of that level in you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So at the beginning of the video, I mentioned about transition the farm has been going through. It is probably right in the middle of the transition, and we are going to get the words of the man who is actually taking care of this farm. So we will hear from him what the condition of the farm was before GroTron came in, and how it is now, and what he thinks is going to happen in about 6 months, 1 year from now. Okay. வணக்கம் சார்.
வணக்கம் வணக்கம்.
இவர் தான் மிஸ்டர் பரமேஸ்வரன். இந்த ஃபார்மை வந்து ஒரு பயங்கரமாக எஃபர்ட் எடுத்து மெயின்டைன் பண்ணுற ஒரு ஜென்டில்மேன். ஸோ இவர்கிட்ட தான் இப்போ நம்ம அந்த டிரான்சிஷன் எப்படி இருந்திருக்குது, இவர் என்ன எதிர்பார்க்குறாரு அப்படிங்கிறதெல்லாம் நம்ம வந்து கேட்க போகிறோம். சார், நீங்கள் சொல்லுங்கள், எப்படி இருந்தது, இப்போ எப்படி இருக்குது, இன்னும் கொஞ்ச நாளில் வந்து இது எப்படி மாறணும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க?
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். இந்த ஃபார்முக்குள்ளே உள்ள நுழையும் போது ஒரு 1 இயர் ஆயிடுச்சு. இப்போ இந்த குரோத்தான்ங்கிறத கொண்டு வரும்போது எனக்கு இப்போ சரியாக தெரியலை. அப்போ சேர்மன்கிட்ட கூப்பிட்டு, சார் இதில் முதலீடு அதிகமாக இருக்குது, இது வேண்டாம் பார்த்துக்கலான்னு. இல்லை, நான் எடுத்துடலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி சேர்மன் சொன்னார். அதுக்கப்புறம் இப்போ ஒரு 8 மாதம் ஆயிடுச்சு இதை கொண்டு வந்த பற்றி நல்ல வளர்ச்சி இருக்குது. இளநீ வந்து க்ரீன் கலரில் நல்லா வருது, நல்ல பசுமையாக இருக்குது. நம்ம இதுக்கு லேபர் கூலி கம்மி, லேபர் இல்லை, இதுக்கு லேபரே தேவையில்லை. ஆட்டோமேட்டிக் நான் வத்தலக்கூடலேருந்து இப்போ ஆன் பண்ணேன்னா எங்கே தண்ணி பாஞ்சிக்கிட்டு இருக்கு, எந்த பக்கம் பாய், இந்த தோப்பாய் தான், அந்த தோப்பாய் தான், இந்த தோப்பாய் தான், எல்லாம் டோட்டலாக பாஞ்சு முடிஞ்சோன்னா மோட்ரு அதான் ஆஃப் ஆகிடுது. கேணியில் தண்ணி இல்லாட்டியும் மோட்ரு அதான் ஆஃப் ஆகிக்கிறது. நல்ல சிஸ்டம். இது வந்த பற்றி எனக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமாக இருக்குது. லேபர் குறைவு, மரங்கள் நல்லா இருக்குது, மற்ற பிஞ்சியெல்லாம் கீழே உதிர்றதில்லை. இப்போ மட்டைகள் வந்து நல்லா ஸ்ட்ராங்காக நிற்கிது. முதல்ல மட்டை தொங்கிக்கிட்டு இருக்கு நிறையா. பாலைகள் நெடுகமாக இருக்குது. இப்போ முன்னாடி காட்டிலும் இப்போ பாலைகள் கொஞ்சம் நெடுகமாக இருக்குது. மட்டை எக்ஸ்ட்ரா நல்லா விரிஞ்சு நல்ல பாலைகள் பெரிய பாலையாக வருது. அதனால் எல்லாமே நல்லா இருக்குது, மன திருப்தியாக இருக்குது. எனக்கு வந்து இன்னும் ஒரு 1 இயரில் நம்ம நினச்சதை முடிக்கலாம் அந்த அளவுக்கு கொடுக்கும். நல்லா வருமானத்தை கொடுக்குது. நான் இங்கே வந்து இளநீர் நான் இப்போ ரெகுலராக இறக்கி காலேஜுக்கு பிள்ளைகளுக்கு கொடுக்குறேன். வெளியில் 50 ரூபா 60 ரூபா விற்கிறாங்க. எங்கள் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டுகளுக்கு நான் வெறும் 25 ரூபாய்க்கு கொடுக்குறேன். இன்னும் ஒரு 1 இயரில் இதனுடைய நல்ல வளர்ச்சிங்கிறது நம்ம கண்ணுக்கு நல்லா தெரியுது. இந்த 8 மாதத்துலேயே எனக்கு மன திருப்தியாக இருக்குது. எல்லாமே நல்லா இருக்குது. இந்த டிஜே உருவாக்குனவர் வந்து என்னுடைய சந்தித்ததில் எனக்கு மன மகிழ்ச்சியாக இருக்குது. அவரையும் நான் என்கிட்ட நேரில் பார்க்குறேன். அவர் ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமாக இருக்குது. அவருக்கு ரொம்ப நன்றி.
இப்போ நானும் ஒரு வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி இந்த மரத்தை பார்த்துருந்தேன். நிறைய அந்த இலைகள்லாம் கீழ்மட்டமாக இருந்தது. இப்போ அது வந்து ஓரளவுக்கு நல்ல மேலே வந்திருக்குது.
ஆமாம்.
காய் பிடிப்பு வந்து இன்னும் அந்த அளவுக்கு வரணும்.
வரணும்.
ஸோ இன்னும் ஒரு 6 மாதம் 1 வருஷத்தில் வருதுன்னு வச்சுப்போம். இந்த டிஜே உருவாக்குன ஒரு பக்கத்தில் நிற்கிறீங்க.
ஆமாம்.
என்ன பண்ணணும்னு அவர்கிட்ட தான் நீங்கள் கேட்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களா?
அதான் இப்போ இதில் இந்த பிஞ்சு உதிர்றத இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் இதை சரி பண்ணணும்.
ஓகே.
ஆமாம். அதுக்கு என்ன காரணம், அது ஏன் உதிருது அப்படிங்கிறத கேட்கலாமா?
Okay. So I was asking him, is there anything you want to know from the man who created DJ? And he said yes.
Sure.
So do you have anything to share, sir?
Yes, certainly. I would like to share and help him understand what I understand today. Over the years, I've seen a lot in the last 30 years. Excellent production, superb production, and then over the years, the same farm is dropping in production. I came to the conclusion that the reserves of the tree were dropping. Why? I think because nutrition. Basically, I think it is nutrition that if it's not optimum, is going to have a long-term effect, negative effect. Why do I say that? First, nutrition goes for the maintenance of the tree, building its reserves. Then nutrition over and above that goes for biomass production. Finally, the nutrition absorbed by the tree over and above that goes for nut and reproduction.
Okay.
And that's where I find if nutrition is not optimum, the tree draws from its reserves, keeps producing, and then starts suffering and dropping in its performance, dropping further in its performance, which begins to be revealed even in the leaves. Okay. You get the V type of trees because the lower leaves have fallen off. The life of the leaf is dependent on the nutrition of the tree. The number of leaves, the well-being of the leaves is going to determine how much sugars, how much photosynthesis is going to take place. And if all that starts suffering because of less nutrition or not optimum nutrition, you're going to see all these effects. So I'm very happy with this system that not only are we aiming at ideal nutrition, and I'd be happy to work with you in the future to keep plotting even more accurate nutrition as the tree grows or as the yield grows or as the weather changes. Your system seems to bring all those together. Right. So I would very much like to work with you in the future to find the ideal system for farmers on the base of the age of their trees.
Okay.
We don't know that as yet. We are learning.
Said he's trying to be fully organic, wants to produce less or no toxic food and give it to the world. So what do you think about organic and DJ together?
Very good question. I would like to comment what happens when we produce organic foods. At the same time, we're trying to give that to a plant meant to yield very highly.
Right.
Hybrids today, in general, increase the yields 3, 4 or 5 times. I'd like to give an example. The tomato planted by the farmer originally cost him nothing because he kept the seeds from the last crop and planted it. Today, he's paying 50,000 rupees a kilo for seed. Though he needs very little, that's what he's paying. Why? Because in those days, they got 2,000 kilos from an acre. Today, they're getting 200,000 kilos from an acre. Now, these new hybrids which are there cannot absorb the amount of nutrients they need merely through organic systems, in my opinion.
Okay.
I hope you can prove me wrong. That with your system and just organic inputs, we can get the maximum out of the tree. I don't know the answer. Okay. I would like to know it. So organic is a solution for some people, but not for others. The others I'm referring to are the people who want maximum output. Um, if your system can do that with organic, I'm very happy, because then we are able to please everyone. However, the person who's trying for 250 nuts, 300 nuts, tender coconuts, 400 nuts, can that tree absorb enough nutrition to give you that yield? You can't get the yield without the trees being its capacity to absorb the nutrition. And if that happens, yes, we get that yield. And yes, I would like to add that already we are working on a better palm for the future. We do what we call continuous improvement in the mother palms, slow, steady progress. So I do hope in the future the palm will be giving 400 nuts or 500 nuts. At that stage, I hope you've got your system worked out perfectly to manage that as well.
Okay.
So it's a question of learning the tree better, understanding the tree, and optimally give it what it needs to give back to us what we want.
Okay, thank you, sir. And I would like to add something to what you just said. So, if you really look at what a plant needs, like we have discussed before, the plant has got a genetic potential. In your case, 250 mature nuts or 400 nuts tender coconut. That's your average production. That really means that to that extent, you'll have to supplement the soil with more minerals. Now, in the last couple of years, a new concept has emerged called bio NPK. These are not the microbes, by the way. Usually, when you were to say biofertilizers, they are microbes. The way the microbes work is that you inoculate them into the soil, and they multiply. For them to multiply, you need carbon in the soil, because that is a food, and they leach and change the chemical properties of the area they are surrounded by. And in that process, the necessary minerals get leached, and that's what goes to the tree. That's the
That's right.
science
That's
behind
right.
organic cultivation. So the challenge there is that you and I don't know how much of N has leached, how much of P has leached,
That's right.
how much of micronutrients have been leached. We don't know. But today, there is a concept of bio-NPK, which is an extract of actual N, P, and K from biosources, not the microbes.
I see.
And as far as micronutrients are concerned, it is in the permissible list anyway. So there is a possibility, I'm just thinking, there is a possibility if you were to use the bio NPK, which is the actual N, P, and K, just like in a chemical fertilizers where you say 46% N, they come and tell you 15% or 16%. So the N, P, and K have been already quantified, and they are organically certified.
Yes.
Therefore, in theory, by using bio NPK and micronutrients, you should still be able to supply the amount of nutrition the plant actually requires. However, this is only my theoretical knowledge. We need someone who is willing to try this. And
I am willing to try this and support you at every level.
excellent. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
So that is quite interesting. Since Mr. David is willing to try, I would like to tell my audience that we will then sit across the table shortly,
Certainly.
draw up a plan, and really see, because we have the expertise of calculating in the NP and K language as to what is the quantity that you should apply to reach the genetic potential. So we have the know-how, people in-house who can do the math.
Good.
And with the same people, I can calculate for the bio NPK as well. The only thing is someone needs to apply this and see the results.
That's
So
right.
we will work out a plan, and I would like to tell my good friends who are watching this video that probably a year from now we should be able to again meet, share our thoughts on how it really did. What do you think, sir?
Absolutely fine. Can we go and start right now?
Yes, let's do that.
I would love to do that.
Sir, I hear a lot of people say that pest and disease infestation in Deejaycoconut compared to native varieties is apparently high. Is that true? What is your view on this?
To some extent, I would feel there is some truth in that. The reason is because native varieties have existed in that location for centuries. They've evolved, their resistance levels are great, and they've learned to live with the environment. Hybrids today are new creatures, as it were, who have not had a chance for acclimatization. So hybrids come with all their strengths and their weaknesses, which is due to not living in those circumstances for centuries.
Okay.
That's one aspect. The second aspect is the native varieties that you see are all tall trees, and nobody looks at a short, newly planted native variety and compares it. They, the hybrids are fairly short and younger because they haven't been around for so long. So we are now looking at native varieties which are tall, which have gone through the ringer, as it were, of nature, of the environment, and now managed to pull through all that. Some have died and they are no longer there to look at, and those which have survived are doing quite well.
Okay.
But the young hybrids, last 15, 20, 30 years, which have been planted, which are looking shorter, yes, because they are young, they attract more because I believe, rightly, wrongly, I'm not sure, that they tend to be tender, and that attracts more pests.
Okay.
Once they get older, they're no longer as attractive to the pests. So now we are comparing young hybrids with old traditional talls,
Okay.
and I think there's a difference.
Okay.
Let's look at poultry farming. A native variety, the Nati chicken, which produces 20, 30, maybe 40 eggs a year, on almost nothing. Well, they do eat something in the field, but we don't feed them very often.
Yeah.
Compare that to the hybrids of today, which came from the grey Indian jungle fowl. Originally, the hybrid chickens today, these chickens lay 300 eggs a year. But how many will they lay if you let them run out in the field? 5 if you are lucky. I
Or
don't even know.
will they even survive?
That I was going to add. Absolutely right. They're not likely to survive. Every cat and every dog has a feast,
Right.
whereas the others know how to manage. So, how do we get the best out of the hybrid? By giving it the optimum conditions. This is commercial farming. This is not forest farming, letting it grow, and whatever we happen to get, we take. No, this is how can we maximize returns?
Yeah. There is always this comparison. I mean,
Yeah.
I see DJ, more white flies, natives, less white flies, but I think it's an extremely good logical answer to that. Thank you so much. And I have one last question. Deejaycoconut is supposed to be producing a lot of nuts compared to the native varieties. And yet, some farmers claim to be producing even more than the average you claim. Some not as successful as these ones. Some even are performing much worse than the native varieties. Why do you think there is such a huge gap between some farmers who are able to get the best and some farmers actually the worst?
Today we see some farmers trying to give and giving good average management, and they should get good average results, is what we would think. What I think is happening is the plants grow under that when they're not yielding, that management is adequate for the growing palm, and then it starts yielding, it starts drawing out from itself its reserves, and it becomes weaker when those conditions continue.
Okay.
As I mentioned earlier, if nourishment first goes for maintenance, then it goes for growth and biomass production, and then finally it goes for reproduction. So I feel reproduction gets hit because the tree is getting less available nutrients.
Okay.
And I'm not sure the old system of chemical fertilizers in the soil ever gave a good opportunity to the tree.
Okay.
The tree has to have its ability to maximize the nutrition available.
Okay.
And we know the carbon levels in the soil are dropping, and there are so many other factors. People talk of global warming. I don't think that's causing a problem, but I don't know enough to really answer. So there is a lot of depletion taking place, and the tree slowly succumbs to that.
Okay.
Can we give it constant optimum nourishment is our goal.
Okay.
And that's my reason why I'm with you, spending time learning from you, as well as trying to tell you what I think we should do. And I'm ready to I worked with you on experiments to make this happen for the farmer.
See, what we generally advise to the farmers is especially trees 2 years older, we recommend going with the subsurface where the laterals are laid about a foot or foot and a half below the surface. So the theory is that the air water balance at the root zone where the white roots are concentrated is always maintained really well. The second advice we generally give them is to measure the soil mineral properties by sending the sample to a lab and calculate the deficiency and supplement that through a fertigation program, typically water soluble fertilizers. And we generally see that program work. What is your view on that?
I fully endorse that.
Okay.
I do believe if we can sharpen our knowledge and our implementation, we will see continuously improvement in the tree's performance.
Okay.
I do not believe we have a system, well, I'm talking before looking at a lot of fertigation systems. I do not believe we have a system today that helps the new hybrid achieve its productive capacity, its genetic capacity.
Right.
But can we achieve 80%? I think we can do that today.
Yeah.
And I do believe 80% plus should be our goal with a fertigation system.
Okay. So I think, I mean, just to summarize our discussion today, I think one, we have discussed at length about the genetic capacity of Deejay. So that combined with GroTron, where we try to maintain the air-water balance using artificial intelligence and very precise fertigation. And now we have even gone a step further, like I said before, where the fertigation can be managed with easy pH balance. I think this combination can do wonders, maybe potentially take the yield above the average that you generally claim. So like we had discussed before this video, I think jointly Farmagain and Deejay will do the experiment of the ECPH balanced fertigation to Deejaycoconuts and see if you are able to outperform your own numbers. That is number one. Number two, we will also go ahead with the bio NPK program.
Yes.
Another experiment to see if you're able to match the inorganic fertigation program. And if it does perform, then maybe we have answer to a lot of farmers' question where can we do organic to Deejay? The answer at the moment seems to be you don't know, I don't know. But I think once we carry out this experiment a year from now, at least I think we should be able to scientifically go out and tell the Deejay farmers community whether we should even look at that direction or not. I think we will create that possibility together.
Ben, I would like to add a thought, or rather share a thought I had earlier when you mentioned about EC and pH control. At that time I was thinking, is this the answer to getting 100% of the genetic capacity?
Yeah.
When you mentioned it, I certainly hope so. I think it could be, and you have my full support in any way you want. The other experiment which you talked about, that will help us achieve organically produced maximum coconuts.
Right.
But now there's so many other aspects we must also support the farmer with. You are doing that. I want to help as well.
Sure.
How can we get optimum nutrition to the tree? Basically that.
Excellent. So, in fact, to the viewers, Farmagain is not just a product selling company, we are a research company. And the reason we want to be a research company is because we want our technology to follow science, not just a piece of technology, but a technology that can follow science. So which is where we always have this thirst to do more and more and more research. And coincidentally, after having discussed with you, I also understand DJ also does the same thing.
Yes.
A lot of research, and you have a large research team.
Yes.
And I think now you are experimenting with developing varieties that can withstand even adverse
Yeah.
climatic conditions. So a company that has research DNA, and we are also a company that has a research DNA. And today I think we have concluded on doing joint research on two subjects.
Yes.
I think that is going to really bring out a lot of answers which didn't exist until now. So probably 6 months to a year from now, we will hopefully be able to give answers to these unknowns that have remained unknowns until now.
I look forward to that. And as I discussed with you about judging the bricks level of the leaf, we are doing some work on that.
Yeah.
The higher the bricks level, the less the pests. Automatic control of pests.
Right.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
That's what we are doing, and I hope you can throw in some light how we can increase the sugar content in the leaf.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Things work out.
Absolutely. So I think this is probably the third dimension that we are likely to join hands and do something about it.
Sure.
So I think overall the objective that you carry and we carry together is to be able to produce more with less.
Yes.
And consistently. That's more important aspect as well.
That's the term we have to focus on right now. Get consistency in.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. I look forward to that.
Yeah, and thank you so much. And it has been really wonderful talking to you. So viewers, I really hope this video with Mr. David was helpful, useful to you. And if there were a few points that you think we can experiment with the discussion we had, please go ahead, experiment them and see if they are useful to you. And if you did find anything useful in our discussion, something useful that you can share with your friends, please do share this video with them so that they can also benefit from what we have spoken. And if you would like to get notified of such interesting videos in the future, please do subscribe. And we will again jointly meet our friends again. But until then, thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.